Hi Pisces and Pisces rising, here is your horoscope for April 2025. I'm Astrologer Joseph Anthony. All right, the big changes continue this month, and this is because we had last month a lunar eclipse in Virgo, your opposite sign, so relationship dynamics continue to go through transformations this month. And we also had an eclipse in Aries, in the second house of income and values. And this one was a solar eclipse. So it's lighting up opportunities for you coming in for partnerships, for making new money, for new opportunities. And so this is all going to be in the mix in the next 6 months or so. So there's going to be a lot of changes in this area, especially since your ruler, Neptune, has now entered Aries and is in your second house. Now, Neptune hasn't been in Aries for at least 165 years. So if that's any indication to the kind of energy that we have that's coming in, it's a very revolutionary energy. But for you guys, if you're a Pisces rising or a Pisces sun sign, this is a general overview using Western tropical astrology. And it's very basic because your birth chart and the placements are going to be completely different from everybody. So, but this gives you a little bit of an idea of what kind of energy is influencing you based on your sun sign. So Neptune in Aries is very revolutionary. It's reinventing oneself. And since this is your ruler of your chart, in Aries, it's fiery, get up and go. It begins to become more aggressive. So you're going to find yourself from this point forward, as long as Neptune's in here, and it will be here until October, and then it'll retrograde back into Pisces for a few months, then come back and then stay in the second house. And I believe it's in January sometime, 2026, and it stays in the second house. So it'll continue to change the way you believe things, the way you value yourself, the way you value others. And things pertaining to money will change as well. Maybe you become more of an artist. Maybe you express yourself more. Maybe you become more creative in some sense, some way, because Neptune's a very creative sign. Many of you may go into singing and dancing because second house likes to speak and likes to entertain. So there's definitely a lot on the table here. Now, when we look at some of these planets in your first house, yes, they could be a little restrictive, like having Saturn there. Saturn won't leave that part of your chart until the end of May. It'll enter Aries as well, back into the second house. It'll stay there for a little bit, then it will retrograde back. So there's a lot of big changes coming for many of you this year, this entire year. But 2026, make no mistake, you're a different person. You're a completely different person because of the astrology. Now, we also have Mercury and Venus here in retrograde mode. So you've been kind of stuck. Like, I'm not sure where to go, what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know where I want to be. I don't know what the hell's happening to me. And it's very common with retrogrades, especially with Pisces. Pisces is the sign that really, sometimes doesn't have an ego. It just reacts and it senses. And it has a difficult time sometimes navigating these cosmic tides that keep coming in and out and in and out. And Pisces takes it personally, like it's affecting them. It's affecting everyone, really. So, but anyway, the good news is these two start to move forward. So that's some good news here this month, okay? So the energy is going to definitely start picking up speed, especially the second half of the month, when the sun moves out of Aries and then goes into Taurus and then starts making alignments to Mars. And Mars will be leaving this part of your chart as well and be going into Leo in the sixth house. So you're going to feel quite motivated to get things done, focus on your health, focus on your job, focus on well-being. Okay, so this is the trends that I'm seeing here in this astrology. Okay, so let's dive in a little deeper. On April the 7th, Mercury in Pisces starts to go direct. So here it is in stationary position, and it's closely aligned to the North Node. So you're going to start feeling like you're destined for something, or expressing yourself, or getting ideas about something that's coming down the road that involves your well-being, involves your future. Because the North Node represents your destiny. It represents your future, what you're longing for. And it's in Pisces. So you're longing for a deeper connection, an understanding, a meaning. And so Mercury now is going to start moving direct, and you'll get a little bit more clarity each day as it moves faster and it picks up speed. And then this month it will also enter Aries, which will definitely pick up speed. Now, on the 11th and 12th, the full moon in Libra is going to light up this 8th house of shared resources, regeneration, rebirth, and it's in the sign of Libra. Again, another relationship-oriented sign. So, again, the theme of relationships absolutely seems to be front and center here this month for many of you, okay? But what makes this one so tricky is not only is it opposing the sun in Aries, which is the self, and the Libra is others, it's also going to be making a square to Mars right here. So this is going to be at 23 degrees. So wherever that is in your actual birth chart, that's the area you want to focus on. But the 8th house is major transformation. And the fact that it's a full moon means it's bringing something to light that you need to pay attention to transmute, to move away from, or you're coming to some sort of realization about a current situation that is no longer working for you. Okay, that's what full moons do. Each month they bring to light a shorter cycle that, I did this, and this during the new moon, and now with the full moon, I'm experiencing this, and this. And I'm coming to realize, that I have to change in some way. So this is the kind of energy here. But since it's in Libra, again, it's about balance, it's about fairness, but it could also be about money. Money matters, investments, because both houses, the 2nd and the 8th, do represent finances, like investments, anything to do with debt, obligation, taxes. And since it's squaring Mars in Cancer, it's in the 5th house. So this could bring in a lot of emotion around this current situation that you might find yourself with another person. And about an hour later, Venus starts to go direct. So there's Venus now. Venus is the sign of relationships. It rules over Libra and Taurus, which is relationship oriented. It's financially oriented. And so it's also running into Saturn right there. As you can see here, over the next couple of days, it'll be conjunct Saturn. So there's a little bit of stress here. This is going to be a very tricky month for everybody, where the energy is starting to move because of the Aries sun. We're feeling much more motivated, but at the same time, we're feeling stuck, or we're feeling confused, or we're running into obstacles. And that's what I'm suggesting here with this Venus. As it goes direct, it's going to run right into Saturn, which is the great restrictor or lesson giver. And so now you find yourself, oh, why did I do that? Thinking about the past, and why am I doing this, and why do I keep doing that, and so on and so forth. You get the point. But the good news is Venus will pass this in about a week or so, move past Saturn, then it's on its way over to the North Node, where once again it will feel like you're destined to do something different. Maybe you're changing jobs, maybe you're changing relationships, maybe you're changing acquaintances, maybe you're changing the people you surround yourself with. This is definitely a possibility here now that Venus is going to be moving direct. Now, on the 16th, Mercury really gets ramped up even more as it returns back into Aries. Remember, it went retrograde for a while there. And now Mercury in Aries is very sharp, very quick-witted. It accelerates everything, especially having to do with vocalization or with thought process. But notice it runs right into Neptune right here at 0 degrees. They're conjunct. So you will be speaking your mind. You will be, talking about things that are important to you. Not only that, it's in the 2nd house of values, income, finances. You may be having some discussions about your investments. Let's say you're with a broker and they're investing your money. You're telling them, hey, I want this, this, and this. But the one thing that this is going to do for many of you, and I need you to pay attention here, is your psychic ability is going to be enhanced even more. Because Mercury is the mind and Neptune is the between worlds. In other words, it's the energy that connects to everything in the universe. And so this is going to amp up psychic ability like never before. So your dreams are going to be vivid. You're going to sense all kinds of things about people and situations. You may even see things that are coming down the road for the current city or family dynamics that you're involved in. Or maybe there's something going on in the world that you're going to be getting a glimpse on. You need to pay extra attention while this Venus is going through Neptune, at least for a week or two. I would say the entire month, because your sensitivity is going to be off the charts. And so ask a specific question and you'll get a specific answer. That's how it works with the universe. You ask a direct question and then you patiently wait for it to come to you. So ask a specific question and see what your higher consciousness or universe shows you. So very important time. Now, Mars will also re-enter Leo because it went retrograde in December of last year, and now it re-enters Leo. Now, Mars works very well in Leo, so it's very aggressive, it is more creative, it's more fun-loving, it definitely wants to express itself. So Mars entering your 6th house is going to have you focusing on several areas. One is physical health, because 6th house has to do with health and service to others. So maybe you're thinking about getting a new pet. The 6th house rules pets. Maybe you're thinking about starting an exercise program, which, by the way, is a great idea since we had the solar eclipse in Aries, which represents the self and motivation. And so this is going to help you for the next 6 weeks as it goes through the 6th house. If you're looking for a job, wanting to change in some way, this is absolutely going to help you. You'll have the motivation, you'll have the confidence, you'll have the drive, especially since it makes an alignment to Neptune and Mercury. So you're going to be finding very creative ways of doing things. So this is going to be a very positive placement for you. But there is a little bit of trickiness here because Mars will also be opposing Pluto, and I'll get to that in a minute. But first, the Sun will enter Taurus. And that's going to be around the 19th and 20th in the 3rd house of ideas and communication, short-term travel. Now, Taurus is a very laid-back, basic sign. So it's suggesting you get back to some of the basics. But, here's the but. As soon as the Sun enters Taurus, it begins to square Mars. And that's a difficult alignment because now you're thinking about money more. You're thinking about values. Did I do the right thing? And when am I ever going to get a job? Am I going to make enough money? Your mind will start going on overload. And this is where it gets a little tricky. From this point forward to the 26th, when Mars opposes Pluto, we create this T-square. First of all, this is tension. This is a lot of tension here. Okay, Mars and Pluto are very much at odds with each other here with an opposition. And then we have a square to the Sun. So you got to be careful around this time frame because you might stress yourself out or get into some sort of conflict around money or a conversation that's going to be very uncomfortable. So this is why it's very important to know the astrology, what's coming, so you could better prepare yourself. If it starts to act up, you go, hey, I remember Joe saying something about this alignment was going to be tricky, so let me navigate very carefully here and see what other people are doing. And so here we have that tension-filled energy with the T-square. So you need to be very careful about this around this time, all the way through the end of the month, okay? And so the other thing it could represent is health. And be careful because you might stress yourself out because this alignment is going to be so strong. And the 6th and the 12th house both represent health. One is physical health, the other is mental health. So that could be very important. But the good news here, on the 27th, the new moon lights up the 3rd house of communication. And it is absolutely telling you, hey, I need to get back to simple things. I need to get back to the basics. I'm not going to worry about money. I'm not going to worry about things. It'll all work itself out. I'm going to do the best I can. Okay, so this is the time to do that with this new moon in Taurus. Okay, so there's the general overview. If you want to know more, I do an extended horoscope in my inner circle, as you can see here. I also do the weekly astrology overview, which most of the members really enjoy. And I teach astrology. There's a course in there. And also every Sunday, I talk to the members. So they send me their charts, or if they have any questions, they send them to me ahead of time, and then we discuss it on Sundays. So a lot to do there, and there's a free 7-day trial, so you have no obligation, and you can check it out. And if it's for you, you stay for a while and enjoy. And we also have a special if you buy the whole year. It's a little bit cheaper price. So anyway, have a great month, Pisces and Pisces rising, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye for now.